those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Heal Yourself Show with Drs. Jonathan Chung and Greg Jean-Pierre of Keystone Chiropractic in Wellington and the Upper Cervical Institute of Florida. Dr. Chung and Dr. Jean-Pierre are chiropractors with a focus on correction of the upper cervical spine. Together they have worked with some of the leading doctors and health experts in the country and have helped thousands of patients regain their health from a variety of chronic health problems related to the structural alignment of the head and neck. Dr. Chung and Dr. Jean-Pierre have authored and published in peer-reviewed scientific journals. They've also been featured speakers around the country on topics ranging from head injury, chronic pain, spinal health, and fitness. Their goal is to teach you how to unlock the doctor within and heal yourself. Join them today as they share their passion for serving families and helping people who could not get better through traditional and alternative means. Call the Heal Yourself Show at 888-565-1470.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Heal Yourself Radio. I'm Dr. Gregory Jean-Pierre from Upper Cervical Institute of Florida in Boca Raton, and sitting across from me as always is Dr. Jonathan Chung from Keystone Chiropractic in Wellington. The purpose of the Heal Yourself broadcast is to inform the listening audience about solutions to some of the most common issues affecting the general population. The premise is that the body is a self-healing, self-regulating, and self-adapting mechanism, and we want to teach you how to tap to the doctor that resides within you. So it's important to understand that really all healing is self-healing. We have within the human body the capacity and potential to recover from stress and trauma that produces pain. A catalyst is needed to activate that self-healing mechanism within us. So the primary purpose of what we do in our office, which is the nuclear work and the adjustment, is to serve as that catalyst to restore the spine to its normal biomechanical balance and to allow the body to heal itself over time.
And good afternoon. This is Dr. Jonathan Chung on the radio with you. Always a pleasure to be with you here, Dr. Greg. Well, we got a great show lined up for you today because, as always, Dr. Greg and I are here talking to you guys about unleashing the doctor within and how what we do in our office with the NUCA protocol can really help people heal a wide variety of disorders. And today's show, we're talking about something that could be a little controversial because a lot of people don't really associate it with chiropractic. And today we're talking about multiple sclerosis. And while multiple sclerosis is a problem for a lot of people and it affects up to 12,000 new people each year, it's something that is relatively still not really known very well. There's lots of research trying to figure out causes and cures of this problem, and there's a lot of people that are trying to find ways to improve their quality of life to address multiple sclerosis so that they could just live to their full potential again.
And as always, this is a live show. Audience participation is recommended. So if you have any question or comment, please give us a call here at 1-888-565-1470, and you can actually watch us live as we do this show on our website, healyourselfradio.com. So let's just get right into it. And what we're talking about today is multiple sclerosis and MS. And one of the things that I found interesting, especially as we started doing this show here, when I do the research, it seems like majority of the things that are common as far as pain and symptoms and disease, when I'm looking for the cause of it, it always say that the causes are unknown. And I find that most people don't understand the cause, and this goes the same with MS. A lot of people don't understand what really causes MS.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's one of the biggest reasons that people end up being in our office as a last resort is because when people go from doctor to doctor and do from test to test and people still don't have a great answer for them on what they should do and how to address the actual cause of the problem, then they finally find us and the NUCA work.
Right, and again, some of the causes that I found on the from doing the research, they talk about genetics. They talk about one of the main thing that they talk about is trauma, and of course it's an autoimmune disease which talk about. But again, MS, there's so much research going on right now. We understand what it is, but we don't understand why it is that is caused, which is why a lot of people end up in the office. Because what I've done and what I've researched is that a lot of time is because of trauma that may have happened in the past and over time resulting in symptoms of MS.
You're absolutely right. And later on in the show, we're actually going to break down a lot of the research that's been done by upper cervical chiropractors that are really doing some cutting edge stuff and displaying a lot of the results that chiropractors have with multiple sclerosis. And we're also going to be interviewing one of my former patients who actually participated in a case study that I published in the Journal of Upper Cervical Chiropractic Research, and she's going to tell us about her experience with NUCCA and her pretty much full recovery from MS.
All right, so about MS, to get into it here, oftentimes multiple sclerosis is given 100% of the blame for causing all the health when an individual is experiencing it. What if the question is, what if 25% of the problem is coming from the MS, but 75% is coming from problem that could be corrected? Which is a great question to lead into, because that's why we are able to help so many people in our office with MS. Because before we even get to it, we don't cure MS, we don't fix MS, but a lot of patients in our office are experiencing tremendous amount of relief from our care. Why do you think that is?
I think there's a lot of things that are going on, to be honest. We're going to be talking about the vascular nature of MS and some controversial research with CCSVI, cerebral spinal venous insufficiency.
That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. And we're going to be talking about how NUCCA plays a role in that, because it may be a big factor in some people with MS.
Right.
And I know a lot of the medical research is saying that, CCSVI doesn't really exist and it's not the cause of MS, but when people are getting these things done to them, they're getting better, and almost some of them are actually getting cured from these problems, which is pretty remarkable.
And to describe to people that are listening what MS is, it's just like we talked about, the central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. The brain is really the computer that affects everything, and the spinal cord are the different pathways that the brain takes to communicate with the rest of the body. So just like if you had a cord, you have layering on top that covers the wires. So MS is the demyelination, or the connective sheath that covers everything, when that's actually starting to get stripped. So that creates sensitivity because those nerves are not able to communicate 100% because the covering is not there. So it's just like if you were to uncover the wiring, you still have information taking place, but over time, this because of sensitivity, you're not getting the proper information, the proper nerve flow, so the brain cannot communicate 100%, which sounds like something we've been talking about since day one: brain and body connection.
You're absolutely right. And that myelin that's wrapped around those nerve fibers, I like to compare it to an insulator.
Right.
And you want that insulation in order for nerves impulses to travel, hundreds of miles per second.
That's incredible.
And we really need that insulation in there. Otherwise, when we lose it, then all of a sudden that 100 miles per second can suddenly become, 30, 40, 50 miles per second.
And that's what we talked about earlier when I said 25% of the problem may be causing from the MS itself, but 75% may be causing from something else. So again, if let's say that insulation is not proper, so you're getting 30%, but on top of that you have a misalignment where there's pressure on that nerve. You and I that doesn't have MS, then you may have an issue, but a lot of these problems that MS patients are experiencing may not be coming from 100% from the MS. So by removing the pressure, moving interference, reconnecting the brain and body, the body's able to gently heal itself, which is why we're getting such amazing results in our office with that.
And it's one of those funny things where we had to take our classes in chiropractic school, and we were always asked to identify the diagnosis, and people would say, like, this person is suffering from numbness. What is it from? And one of the things that was rarely an option on a national board test was a subluxation, even though when we correct subluxations, a lot of times those things get better.
Yeah, and again, if you're listening and you or somebody you know that have MS and you have any question whatsoever, please give us a call. We'd love to interact with you and give you our opinion. The number is 1-888-565-1470. 1-888-565-1470, or you can listen to us or watch us live on the internet at healyourselfradio.com.
So one of the things that I think we should talk about is, what does an MS patient look like? What do they really go through? Because one of the things that a lot of MS patients have a concern about is the fact that people don't treat their disease with the seriousness of something like heart disease and cancer, because in and of itself, MS isn't truly a fatal disease, but it has a huge effect on a person's quality of life.
Right, and that's what we look at when you come in the office, is the improvement of quality of life, because of the demyelination of the nerves and the brain not able to communicate 100% with the rest of the body. An MS patient usually have symptoms with vision, with balance, with issues that you and I may not deal with, but because the nervous system is not able to work properly, those issues exacerbated by the demyelination of those nerves.
And a lot of times these patients are actually going from doctor to doctor with all these different problems, because in medicine they always look at things kind of as an algorithm where you have to have this symptom here, this symptom here, this symptom here, and then we could label you with a disease. But MS follows such a crazy pattern for each and every person that has it. So one person may have a visual problem and they have a little bit of numbness in their toes, and then they have, difficulty walking, while another patient may have some numbness in their hands, no vision problems at all, but their balance is going crazy. And that's one of the things that people struggle with, is that because an MS patient's experience is different almost all the time, that MS becomes a diagnosis by exclusion.
And that's the key. When I was doing the research, there is no real diagnosis of MS. It's exclusion. You try this, you try that, you do this, and then when you get the MRI, you can see the lesion, then you get labeled with MS. But before that, it's all about treating symptoms and treating this, which is why so many of our patients that come in, they're frustrated because they have tried everything, and by the time they get the diagnosis of MS, they still have to deal with everything that was ignored. So we are able in the office, and again, really, everything about your body is the brain able to communicate with the rest of the body. So just like you and I want 100% communication between the brain and the body, same thing with MS. So it doesn't matter with the demyelination or not. If you have the demyelination and you have the pressure on the nerves, that's actually exacerbate the problem even more. So the goal is to free up the nervous system to allow the body to gently and naturally heal itself. And majority of our patients, guess what? At the end of the day, they still have MS, but their quality of life changes dramatically.
You're right. And before we go into a quick commercial break here, what we're going to be talking about here up in the next segment of the show, we're going to be talking about, what are some of the conventional treatments out there, what the drug industry is doing with MS and the MS patients' frustration with the drug industry. And of course, we'll be talking about how chiropractic plays a role and what the subluxation has anything to do with the process of demyelination. And we'll be coming back to that after this commercial break.
When was the last time you had your atlas checked? When your head and neck shift out of place, it can actually affect your whole body. Do you suffer from migraines, TMJ, dizziness, or chronic back and neck pain? If so, you may have an atlas problem, and you need a NUCA chiropractor. NUCA allows for a gentle and precise correction of your spine without any popping, twisting, or cracking associated with conventional manipulations. Call Keystone Chiropractic at 561-247-0044 and schedule a free consultation. Dr. Chung is one of approximately 300 doctors in the world trained in the NUCA protocol of spinal correction. Stop suffering. When your doctors can't determine the problem, you need to contact Keystone Chiropractic. We won't ask you to believe in chiropractic or commit to a lifetime of treatment. What we will do is show you what normal is, and we'll tell you how to get there again. We'll show you using precision technology that your spine has changed for the better, even after one correction. Then we'll show you the path for keeping it that way. If you are tired of constantly patching the problem and you're looking for a long-term solution that you can both feel and see for yourself, then a NUCA office is the right place for you. Once the foundation has been fixed, then we'll teach you how to keep it that way through customized recommendations designed for your spine so that the problem doesn't come back. What do you have to lose? Call today to schedule your complimentary consultation. If you call during the hour, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to use towards your first visit. No questions asked. No commitments, just a conversation to see if we can help. 2 convenient locations in Boca Raton and West Palm Beach. Call Keystone Chiropractic today and end your days of suffering with chronic pain. Go to our website at www.keystonechiropractic.com ms.com or call us at 561-247-0044.
Are you searching for answers to your health problems? Are you looking for an alternative to harmful drugs and dangerous surgery? Have you tried everything else and figured this is just something you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life? At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we provide you with a safe, effective, and natural approach to restoring your health and regaining your life. Dr. Jean-Pierre will find the cause instead of masking the symptoms. Dr. Jean-Pierre utilizes the most specific techniques in detecting and correcting the vertebral subluxation. At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we pride ourselves in providing you with the highest standards of healthcare for you and your entire family. The procedure is gentle, effective, and affordable for everyone. Call now to schedule your free consultation. 561-409-3594. That's 561-409-6594. Or visit our website at www.uci-fl.com.
And welcome back. And right before we left, we talked about MS and the different causes and the different medication. And I was reading this, and it's really important because a lot of time when you go to a medical doctor, they give you medication and stuff for the MS, but the way they do it is they give you what's called a proven treatment, which are treatments that's been undergo things like double-blind studies, and has been proven by the manufacturer, by the pharmaceutical industry. But the problem is, often and then not, because MS is such a serious disease, they tend to overlook the side effect of these things. Okay, and not only that, a lot of these medication doesn't prove to fix anything, but it may be able to slow down the lesion, may be able to slow down some of the symptoms, but it actually doesn't fix anything. Whereas when you're looking at everything else that may work, they lump that into alternative medicine, as far as you can't really do a double-blind placebo study with exercise or whole food or nutrition, but all those things are things that have been shown to actually help the symptoms of MS drastically. So again, that's why a lot of patients come in, they're frustrated because they've been under the guideline of proving treatment, taking the medications and everything, but it doesn't slow down the relapse or the new lesions when compared to the placebo method. So you got to be careful out there as far as what is labeled as alternative treatment, even though there's tons of published article that says that those things, such as nutrition, such as exercise, diet, and of course just yoga and all that stuff, works with people with MS, but it's not proving treatment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because that's one of the things that I know frustrates a lot of MS patients, is that they go to their doctor, they finally have a diagnosis, they've been labeled with MS, and they start these pharmaceutical treatments, and they're not promised to what they expected. They don't live up to their expectations. And some things that a lot of people I know with MS have had, great success with are, vegetarian diets, a paleo diet. Correct. And the reason these diets work is because they're addressing the inflammatory nature of MS. And as they actually start to see little bits of improvements in some of their symptoms, then they're like, man, this was easy. All you had to do was just change some of the foods that I eat, and the MS is actually slowing down.
Yeah. And here's a recent example. It shows that aerobic exercise increased brain size in people with MS 16.5% and improved memory 53.7%. It's been shown to be effective, and it's proving in scientific research. And the great thing is there are no toxic side effects. Yet, guess what? Exercise is still called alternative by MS practitioners.
And there's sometimes hits a point where, when people say it's not FDA approved, I feel like that's almost a way of saying, okay, this is actually safer for you than actually taking something that's FDA approved.
And then again, we've seen that over and over again with all these drugs that are FDA approved. A few years later, they pretty much all get called back, because again, the problem with MS and some of those big diseases, it's so serious that you're afraid not to take the medication, and you tend to ignore the side effects, which can make the problem even more, or give you some of the symptoms that we talked about as far as vision problems and balance issues. But again, we tend to ignore that, because when they tell you this is proven, that's what you go with. Whereas when you start changing things, and that's what I love about what we do in the NUCA work, that right now there's so many research and there's so many things that are being done out there that prove how balancing out the nervous system with the NUCA treatment or adjustment is able to allow the body to heal itself. And that hopefully is going to be proven research. And even though there's a lot of doubters out there, but there's research out there being done, and we're going to touch base on that, on how the NUCA correction can actually decrease a lot of the symptoms associated with MS.
I kind of wanted to go back towards what we were talking about on how certain things can be FDA approved and unsafe, and other things can be not FDA approved and completely safe. I actually saw this thing on the internet one day, and I wasn't sure if it was real or not, but there was actually a sign on a bottle of water, and they actually had to label the water. It says, "This is not approved to treat dehydration." So you need medical necessity to treat dehydration with water? How ridiculous is that? Have we really come this far to the point where we have to label water, which is in effect the only treatment for dehydration, that we have to label it as something that doesn't treat it because hasn't gone through this FDA approval process? Again, I think that's ridiculous.
That's where we're going as far as proving treatments, and proven treatments mean is gone to a double-blind placebo study and has been approved by the pharmaceutical industry as a proving treatment for such and such, where in reality there are so many other things out there that can do better job as that proven treatment, but again it's considered alternative because it didn't go through a double-blind placebo study. So it's rather unfortunate, but that's why you and I are doing the show, to educate the population about what is it out there that you can do to actually live a healthy lifestyle and tap into the doctors within you. And again, the NUCA work is just so incredible. It's going to allow you to do that by simply removing the interference to allow the body to do what it's supposed to do. And again, folks, this is a live show. As we talk back and forth, if you have any question or comment whatsoever, give us a call. The number here is 1-888-565-1470, 1-888-565-1470, and go to our website and you can watch us live, and all the shows that we've done so far are archived there, and it's healyourselfradio.com. And while I'm talking about this, do you want to introduce the contest that we're having?
Yeah, I think it would be good. I think we want to let our listeners know that we want them to engage with us, and one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to have a little contest over the next week or so. And if you want to participate in the contest, then you're going to need to interact with us on our Facebook page. So if you go to facebook.com and search for Heal Yourself Radio, or you could go directly to the website, it's facebook.com/Heal Yourself Radio, and like our Facebook page. We're going to post details about the contest. We're going to unload a series of questions, and next week when we're back on the show, we're going to ask the questions on the air, and the third caller that is able to answer those questions successfully, we'll get them a nice little prize here. So stay tuned for that.
It's going to be a nice prize. We're not announcing it here, but if you go on our Facebook, we'll detail all that stuff on there. So it's just a way to get you guys to interact with us, because again, what we're talking about is to help everyone, and I have tons of patients that listen and they talk about all the good tips that we've been giving. But again, this is a live show. The more people that call, the more people are going to learn, because one of the things they told me in class, it's like you may have a question and somebody else may have it, but they're too shy. So go ahead and give us a call, and we'll be able to answer any question that you may have. Again, the number is 1-888-565-1470.
That's actually kind of funny, because what I've always been told is if anyone has to listen to you for 30 minutes, then you better well give them a gift for doing that.
There you go. So that's what we're doing. We're giving you a gift for listening. So let's get back to this. Do you want to get into this research with this big word CCSVI?
CCSVI, yes I do, because I think when people understand CCSVI and some of the things that are going on with it, then people are going to understand how NUCA can play a role much more effectively.
And this is really, well, not funny, but again, what we've been talking about the entire time, how the NUCA correction can actually allow the drain to between the brain and the body to do that perfectly. And this is what this is talking about. And this guy actually found a connection between CSF flow and MS and the upper cervical region.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And let's give a little background history. So there's a doctor in Italy named Dr. Paolo Zamboni. And Dr. Zamboni has really gotten a lot of fame in recent years and actually a lot of criticism for his work because his work actually goes into the realm of unproven treatments, even though it's a surgical procedure. Now, one of the interesting things about it is that his wife had MS. And going through some of the work and talking to some researchers, they actually had a hypothesis that iron was in some way related to MS, and that iron was making blood flow sluggish so that blood wasn't draining from the brain properly. So what he did was he actually put patients through a new procedure that involved opening up the jugular vein, getting rid of iron deposits in the jugular vein, and allowing blood to flow through the jugular veins properly again, and thus draining the brain of all these inflammatory chemicals and getting iron out of the bloodstream a little bit more effectively. And some of the results were miraculous. He actually claimed that his wife was cured after he did the procedure. And because of the buzz that came from publishing this research, thousands and thousands of people were starting to look for this procedure called the liberation technique to get surgery done to their jugular vein to cure themselves of MS. And what this led to was a study called the study of a concept called cerebral spinal venous insufficiency. And what that basically means, they're 4-letter words, or 4 letters that just describe that blood is not draining out of your head properly. And when blood doesn't drain out of your head properly, then it can actually decrease the brain tissue that you have in the brain, and it can actually leave inflammation to back up into the brain and cause problems that way as well.
Yeah, and if you're following us live, soon we're going to post a picture of the drainage system. Do we have that up there? If you look at it, it's a complex system on how the brain actually drain fluid from the top to the bottom and back and forth. And interestingly enough, all that stuff actually goes through the brainstem area where the C1 vertebra in the atlas bone is, which is what we work on. So a lot of time what we're doing is removing interference to allow the body to actually drain properly.
That's absolutely right. And this always has to go back and say this, is that this is not a cure for MS. There is no cure for MS, but it's a piece of the puzzle that a lot of people who are suffering with MS type symptoms, that this is something that could possibly benefit them. And we're always looking to increase our body's ability to adapt to the environment, because essentially that's what gives us the ability to heal and overcome disease, is our increasing our ability to adapt.
Yeah, and that's what NUCA is really. It's not curing anything, it's really balancing out the body. And again, just like you and I, if we have a misalignment of the top bone, the brain's not able to communicate. Same thing, if you, regardless whether you have MS or not, if your body's not working properly, a lot of people with MS have vision problem and balance issues. So by removing the interference to allow the body to heal itself and to allow the brain to drain properly, it can only benefit you in a positive way. Pretty much majority of my patients that I've seen with MS, at the end of the day, guess what? They still have MS, but their life reduced dramatically, and they get their life back. They're able to walk better, they're able to move better, they're able to communicate better. And that's, at the end of the day, is all you can ask for, versus taking the medication and not functioning at 100%.
Completely right. So, Dr. JP, we're going to take a quick break here, and we have our guest on the line coming back from this segment. It's actually a former MS patient that I took care of in the office, and we published a case study on there. So she's going to talk about her experience with the NUCA work, and we'll bring that to you when we come back after this message.
Are you searching for answers to your health problems? Are you looking for an alternative to harmful drugs and dangerous surgery? Have you tried everything else and figured this is just something you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life? At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we provide you with a safe, effective, and natural approach to restoring your health and regaining your life. Dr. Jean-Pierre will find the cause instead of masking the symptoms. Dr. Jean-Pierre utilizes the most specific techniques in detecting and correcting the vertebral subluxation. At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we pride ourselves in providing you with the highest standards of healthcare for you and your entire family. The procedure is gentle, effective, and affordable for everyone. Call now to schedule your free consultation. 561-409-4669. 561-409-6594. That's 561-409-6594. Or visit our website at www.uci-fl.com.
When was the last time you had your atlas checked? When your head and neck shift out of place, it can actually affect your whole body. Do you suffer from migraines, TMJ, dizziness, or chronic back and neck pain? If so, you may have an atlas problem, and you need a NUCA chiropractor. NUCA allows for a gentle and precise correction of your spine without any popping, twisting, or cracking associated with conventional manipulations. Call Keystone Chiropractic at 561-247-0044 and schedule a free consultation. Dr. Chung is one of approximately 300 doctors in the world trained in the NUCA protocol of spinal correction. Stop suffering. When your doctors can't determine the problem, you need to contact Keystone Chiropractic. We won't ask you to believe in chiropractic or commit to a lifetime of treatment. What we will do is show you what normal is, and we'll tell you how to get there again. We'll show you using precision technology that your spine has changed for the better, even after one correction. Then we'll show you the path for keeping it that way. If you are tired of constantly patching the problem and you're looking for a long-term solution that you can both feel and see for yourself, then a NUCA office is the right place for you. Once the foundation has been fixed, then we'll teach you how to keep it that way through customized recommendations designed for your spine so that the problem doesn't come back. What do you have to lose? Call today to schedule your complimentary consultation. If you call during the hour, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to use towards your first visit. No questions asked. No commitments, just a conversation to see if we can help. 2 convenient locations in Boca Raton and West Palm Beach. Call Keystone Chiropractic today and end your days of suffering with chronic pain. Go to our website at www.keystonechiropractic.com or call us at 561-247-0044.
And welcome back to the Heal Yourself radio program. This is Dr. Jonathan Chung, as always, here with my partner in crime, Dr. Gregory Jean-Pierre. And today we're talking about multiple sclerosis. I'd like to introduce today's guests. We have a very special guest, actually one of my favorite human beings around. Her name is Marie Coyne, and I took care of her when I was working in Coral Springs about 2 years ago. And she was a patient that was suffering with symptoms of MS, and just her recovery while she went through the NUCA plan of care was actually pretty remarkable. It was so remarkable that we actually decided to document it in the form of a case study that was published in the Journal of Upper Cervical Chiropractic Research. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Marie. Hey, Marie.
Hey, Dr. Chung, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful because I'm almost certain I heard you say I was your favorite human being in the world.
You're definitely way up there. Don't tell my girlfriend that, though.
Okay.
So, Marie, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your story and introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay, well, I started coming for NUCA about 4 years ago, and I was diagnosed with MS about, 14, 15 years ago. And, although I was very high function, I suffered with the sensory issues with MS, the fatigue. I had a lot of spasticity, numbness, dizziness. I would drop things, those types of issues. I was able to get around a lot. I was high function. I could work, but, those things were still troubling. I was young. I had young children. And, it was very frustrating to me. So I started off taking the beta-seron shots, which, with that type of medication comes a lot of, side effects. And, when you first started doing it, you felt like you had the flu. And then, other issues began, my vision, extreme fatigue started coming in, issues with my bladder. So I started taking all these medications. And then a few years ago, I have a friend who was a patient of, the office, and she brought me to one of the new patient dinners where you go and you learn about the practice, about the procedures. And I signed up, and I had my first adjustment. And mind you, I had been suffering mostly at that time from severe numbness in my hands and my feet. And I just thought, you know what? It's just part of the disease. It's something I have to live with. And it was frustrating again because I was young and still, working and typing and trying to do things with my hands and trying to get around quickly, and it was getting difficult. But after my first adjustment, immediately, the hands, my feelings came back in my hands. The numbness was almost completely gone. And I remember just sitting up really quickly. And as you know, when you first start getting adjusted, you flip that switch and the light is flowing, and that blood rushed to my head, and I got very dizzy and flushed. And Dr. Brown was like, lay down, you need to calm down. But it was so exciting because I thought, oh my goodness, finally, some type of relief. With this numbness, it's an annoying, itchy feeling. My hands, my feet, almost immediately, all the feeling came back, and then from there on in, things just started evening out. My fatigue started getting better, and attending so many workshops to practice that they still do to this day. We learned about nutrition and we learned about detoxing, and a lot of the workshops were on medicines. So working with my medical doctors, I slowly weaned myself off of all my medications, because when I sat down and I started reading the instructions, the fatigue medicine was making my bladder irritated, and the bladder medicine was making me tired, and what I took for neuropathy was making me dizzy. So it was like I was in crazy town, and I wanted to stop it.
Yeah.
So slowly I've been off the medication, and I've just been doing everything holistically with, my adjustments every month, and I take a lot of vitamins, and I'm doing really well.
You are doing really well, Maria, and every day that I get a chance to see you, you're just like a living testament to what the potential that people can have when they're living life at their fullest.
Right. And it was a big eye-opener, and then I, convinced my husband to come. He had some issues with his hip. He's a big athlete. He's, retired, but he's very active. He coaches football. He plays softball, but he's getting up there in age, and he was having issues with his hip and with his arm. And I kept telling him, "You have to come." And eventually, I convinced him to come. He's very critical. He's a retired law enforcement, so he's very skeptical of everything. And he came, and after his first adjustment, he was amazed at how you feel so much better, and then other things that you didn't even realize were happening to your body start improving. And it's been life-changing for me.
That's amazing, Marie. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what the adjustment feels like and how it comes from a patient standpoint?
It's a very gentle adjustment. Because I've gone to chiropractors over the years. I had a car accident, many years ago, and I went to a chiropractor, and there was a lot of twisting and cracking and popping, and although I did get relief, and that process works for many individuals, I wasn't comfortable with it. I didn't like it. Every time I knew I had to go back, I got very anxious just to get over that initial twisting of my neck made me really nervous. But it's so relaxing. First you lay on your back, you get the length of your legs checked, and then they determine whether or not you need to be adjusted, and you turn on your side, and it's just a gentle pressure that's applied to the side of your head. And I barely feel it, but it's so powerful. To this day, I still get that rush of blood to my head, and I still feel a little loopy after, but it's well worth it.
Absolutely. And, just so you guys know, Marie is responsible for literally dozens of people learning about NUCA, and just her passion and her enthusiasm and just, being a really well-respected person in the community has helped lead people to live better lives. What are some of the things that you tell people when you're trying to describe NUCA, and how do you get these people to come in and at least give it a shot?
Well, I think initially, for instance, I recently went for my eye exam, and my regular eye doctor was not available, so I saw another doctor in the office, and I'd never seen her before. And I'm sitting in her chair, and I'm looking at her, and I can see she's sitting completely wrong, and her neck is all creaked, and she's reaching for her mouth, and I can see she's uncomfortable. And she's reading my history while she's complaining about her back and neck, and she's like, wow, you had MS, you had breast cancer, 10 years ago, you look great, and you're not on any medicines. And what do you do to keep yourself feeling good and staying healthy? And I said, well, I do everything holistically, and I talked to her about the NUCA and how I've been going there And then I teased her about the way she was sitting in her chair. I said, you're not set up correctly. No wonder your back and your neck hurts. But she was just so amazed that I looked very healthy. That I have all these issues, yet I looked fine, and that I was doing everything holistically and just under chiropractic care. So, of course, she came for an evaluation, and she signed up for herself and her husband. So it usually starts like that. Someone will say, you have MS, or you've been through this. How do you deal with it? And I say, well, I take lots of vitamins, and I go for my monthly adjustments. And really, it's just interacting with people, and they know what I've been through, and they see how good I feel and how energetic I am. And, that's usually how it starts.
That's awesome, Marie. So we're going to go in a little bit, but I want you to just talk to our listeners. I want you to talk to them about, if you've been suffering and you've been having problems, what kind of mindset do you have, and what would you tell these people in order to help them live a higher quality of life?
Well, it's just, you have to try it. It's like when it's the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing over and over again and nothing works. So you know what? At some point in your life, you need to step back and say, what have I not tried? And it doesn't hurt to try it. Again, it's a gentle manipulation of the neck. There's no cracking, snapping, or popping, so you don't feel that uncomfortable situation. And for me, I was just tired of all the medication and nothing working. And sometimes you have to try something new. That's the best way I can describe it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Maria. I really appreciate you coming on the air and sharing your story with us. And hopefully we'll cross paths here pretty soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on, and congratulations on your new practice.
Thanks, Marie.
All right. Bye-bye.
She's a little fireball, huh?
Oh, that was awesome, Marie. It's I'm sitting here just listening to her, and it kind of took me back when I first got my NUCA adjustment. And again, one of the things that as you listen, it's kind of a pattern with most patients that they've tried everything. They figured it was something that they had to live with for the rest of their life, and somehow, some way, they got through they got the NUCA correction, and their life was changed from then on. So, and again, it's my story. It's the story that I see in my office every day, and it really almost sounds like it's too good to be true. But again, the NUCA correction doesn't cure anything. It really gives your body an opportunity to do what it was designed to do, which is to heal itself. So again, if you're listening out there and you have doubt and you're thinking, well, this is too good to be true, just like she said, both of us, we do lectures in our office. Come on in, just listen in and see for yourself, and talk to people one-on-one for yourself, and see the kind of results that they're experiencing. They're literally getting their life back. And for me, as a patient and now as a practitioner, I know I wouldn't be doing this today if I didn't get the result that was completely unexpected. But again, my life was drastically changed by that. So listening to it really brought me back to my first NUCA correction when I got there, and I was, I didn't expect anything, because just like everybody else, it was something that I figured I was going to have to live with for the rest of my life. And now here I am talking about NUCA and helping people, and people coming from all over the world, and I'm helping them. And it's just such a fulfilling experience that, if you're listening, I want you to experience that yourself. So again, both you and I, we're doing a $100 gift certificate. So if you're listening and you're interested, just coming in to get checked, call our office or go on the website healyourselfradio.com. There's details there on how to call, and we'll be more than happy to take care of you and talk to you, and hopefully we'll have you on here with your story as well.
And you know what? There's a lot of skeptical people out there. And, it's okay to challenge things and ask questions. Take this time and give the show a call and see if we could answer some of those questions for you. So the lines are open at 1-888-565-1470. That's 1-888-565-1470. We're going to go ahead and take one more commercial break. And while we're doing that, why don't you guys go and find us on Facebook at facebook.com/healyourselfradio. Like our Facebook page, find out more about Dr. Greg and I, and see if this is right for you.
When was the last time you had your atlas checked? When your head and neck shift out of place, it can actually affect your whole body. Do you suffer from migraines, TMJ, dizziness, or chronic back and neck pain? If so, you may have an atlas problem, and you need a NUCA chiropractor. NUCA allows for a gentle and precise correction of your spine without any popping, twisting, or cracking associated with conventional manipulations. Call Keystone Chiropractic at 561-247-0044 and schedule a free consultation. Dr. Chung is one of approximately 300 doctors in the world trained in the NUCA protocol of spinal correction. Stop suffering. When your doctors can't determine the problem, you need to contact Keystone Chiropractic. We won't ask you to believe in chiropractic or commit to a lifetime of treatment. What we will do is show you what normal is, and we'll tell you how to get there again. We'll show you using precision technology that your spine has changed for the better, even after one correction. Then we'll show you the path for keeping it that way. If you are tired of constantly patching the problem and you're looking for a long-term solution that you can both feel and see for yourself, then a NUCA office is the right place for you. Once the foundation has been fixed, then we'll teach you how to keep it that way through customized recommendations designed for your spine so that the problem doesn't come back. What do you have to lose? Call today to schedule your complimentary consultation. If you call during the hour, we'll give you a $100 gift certificate to use towards your first visit. No questions asked. No commitments, just a conversation to see if we can help. 2 convenient locations in Boca Raton and West Palm Beach. Call Keystone Chiropractic today and end your days of suffering with chronic pain. Go to our website at www.keystonechiropractic.com or call us at 561-247-0044.
Are you searching for answers to your health problems? Are you looking for an alternative to harmful drugs and dangerous surgery? Have you tried everything else and figured this is just something you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life? At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we provide you with a safe, effective, and natural approach to restoring your health and regaining your life. Dr. Jean-Pierre will find the cause instead of masking the symptoms. Dr. Jean-Pierre utilizes the most specific techniques in detecting and correcting the vertebral subluxation. At Upper Cervical Institute of Florida, we pride ourselves in providing you with the highest standards of healthcare for you and your entire family. The procedure is gentle, effective, and affordable for everyone. Call now to schedule your free consultation. 561-409-3594. That's 561-409-6594. Or visit our website at www.uci-fl.com.
And welcome back, everyone. And again, this is a live show as we close here. We're still taking some calls. The number is 1-888-565-1470, 1-888-565-1470. Go on our website, healyourselfradio.com, or like us on Facebook, facebook.com/healyourselfradio. So we're going to get into some of the research that's been done as far as NUCA, chiropractic, and MS. And just like as any other show, if you guys want any of these research, I have them here and we'll make them available to you. Just contact us through our website or call on the office. We'll be more than happy to share these research with you. But I'm holding 2 specific research, and there's a lot more. And we talk about the study that was done with the CCVSI, and also I have a couple more here that talks about Parkinson and MS as it relates to the upper cervical work. So if you listen out there and you just need some research articles, please give us a call. We'll provide that for you, and you can read them, give them to your medical doctor, whatever the case is. But pretty much everything that we talked about here, there are documents for that.
And one of the things that we want to address here is the fact that a lot of people associate chiropractic as being a hokey thing, that there's no science behind it. And the truth is, there are chiropractors hard at work every day that are trying to get these studies out there and get them published, and show the world not only that chiropractic is effective for the things that chiropractic is effective for, like back pain and neck pain, but some serious neurological issues that a lot of people are suffering with every day and didn't know can have help.
And here are the facts. Those are facts that people cannot argue with. Every nerve in the body starts in the brain. That's how the body works. The brain controls every single thing. The atlas is the bone that connects the head and the brain to the body. And 99%, and this is 99, I'm pretty sure 100% of all nerves in the body passes through the atlas to get the rest of the body. So when you have an accident, injury, trauma, something, that can misalign the atlas. And when that bone's misaligned, the nerve and blood vessels in the neck becomes irritated. So those are are facts that nobody can dispute. So again, when those nerves become irritated, if 100% or 99% of all nerves that goes through the body has to go through that kind of explain why NUCA is so effective, because what we're doing is realigning that top bone to allow those blood vessels, those nerves to be free of interference as they communicate from the top to the bottom.
And one of the things that's important to understand is that, we had our predecessors that kind of inspired us to become upper cervical chiropractors and do this NUCA work. And one of the things that really inspired me to do this NUCA work is the study by Dr. Erin Elster. And she did this really remarkable case series that basically she studied about 80 people with both MS and Parkinson's disease. And she's actually an upper cervical doctor out in Colorado, and the results of her work were actually really astounding. When we talk about the specifics with MS, she found a couple things. She found that a lot of the people that have MS and Parkinson's have a history of some sort of head trauma, whether it was from a car accident, whether it was a skiing accident, in some way, shape, or form, they had an injury to their head and neck at some point in their past. And what she also found is about 90% of the people that she took care of with MS, by adjusting the atlas and putting it in its proper position again, felt some kind of improvement. And some people were actually noticed that their lesions had stopped advancing. Some of them saw the lesions actually become reversed, and many people actually started to notice a huge difference in their quality of life by getting their atlas corrected.
Yeah, and again, I have this study right in front of me here by Erin Elster. If you guys are interested in getting that study, please give us a call in our office, email us through Facebook, whatever the case is. We'll simply send these these studies for you to read for yourself. But again, the bottom line in all these studies and the common thread is when you have a trauma, the atlas gets shifted, and the hypothesis is the extracranial venous compression is linked to severe misalignment of the C1 vertebra. I mean, that just makes sense. And one of the things that we talked about, once you get the big idea, everything else follows. So the goal is really to see what's going on within that C1 vertebra that's occluding the communication between brain and spinal cord, and by releasing that pressure, the body is able to do amazing things, including getting relief from MS and Parkinson's.
I like to make this analogy because it really fits one of the studies that they did. It's a study done in Italy, and it's called upper cervical vertebral subluxation and multiple sclerosis with chronic cerebral spinal venous insufficiency. And the garden hose theory really applies really well here.
Right, yeah.
So what they're finding is, if you could imagine, your vertebra have two hoses that are going through it, and each of these hoses are basically carrying blood in and out of the brain. So what they're noticing is that if you twist your vertebra, you're going to create a kink in those hoses, and it's going to slow down the passage of blood. And when you slow down that passage of blood, blood is going to be forced back into the brain, and therefore create extra pressure and tension into the brain itself. And what it's also going to do is it's going to create turbulent flow of CSF, and that turbulent flow can actually degrade the myelin, and it also backs inflammation back up into the brain as well. And when you have this perfect storm of all these three factors, and all of a sudden you have brain cells that either start to go into a hibernation state, or some of them will actually just die straight out.
Yeah, and again, and what we're talking about, and it's again sound like too good to be true, and the atlas is the key, but really it is. The reason why it's called the atlas is because it holds your world. So when that's out of position, it's going to back up everything from the top to the bottom and vice versa. But in order for your body to function properly, and I don't care what kind of disease you have or problem, whether it's MS, Parkinson, or everything else that we talked about, if you have an atlas misalignment, it's impossible for your body to work at 100% to heal itself. By removing the interference, we're not curing anything, but we're allowing the body to heal itself. So with the NUCA care, the gentle and scientific realignment of the neck can be the answer for many other things that we talk about.
Yeah, absolutely right. And just the stuff that NUCA is doing as far as the research world is going, we're actually trying to study this, and we've done really well designed MRI studies to see how is blood flow being affected when we fix the atlas. And once this stuff comes out, then it's going to change the way that people think about not only MS, but headaches and Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and a wide variety of other diseases.
And then one of the quick thing that we see with MS, and it's a balance issue. Patient with multiple sclerosis notice that their balance becomes more stable. Their coordination often improve after the NUCA correction, because again, when you have the MS or pretty much any other thing, the very first thing that goes is your balance and the center of gravity shift. So by bringing that atlas back into position, putting your head on straight, so to speak, that allows your coordination, everything to be regained, and allow your body to gently and naturally heal itself. So I'm excited about specifically where NUCA is going with MS and all these research studies that's coming out, because again, we're getting from the realm of alternative medicine to proven medicine. Well, not medicine, but an alternative treatment. But by being able to do that, the body's absolutely going to heal itself.
So let's talk about what we're going to do next week, because our time's about wrapped up now. But it's something that I'm really excited about after spending 4 solid weeks in a row talking about chronic degenerative diseases. Yeah. I'm ready to talk about athletic performance and doing things to make my body better in spite of disease.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that too, because I see a lot of athletes in my office, and as a former athletic trainer, dealing with the opposite side of it. Now it's really cool to see how the NUCA correction can actually improve athletic performance. So this is a show that it's not as depressing and there's not disease. So I'm really excited and looking forward to do that. We're going to talk about not only athletic performance, but we're going to touch on specific things such as golf. So if you're a golfer out there, we're going to show you different ways to increase your biomechanics and physics to actually get a good golf game.
And we're definitely going to talk about CrossFit too, because that's a big part of my life.
Yeah. So tune in next time. And again, when you guys get a chance, go on Facebook, like us on Facebook. Next time we will be asking a series of questions, and there's a prize out there that you guys are gonna love. So go on Facebook, like us on Facebook, and don't forget to call the office and take advantage of the offer that we're doing, $100 gift certificate for anyone that's interested, just coming in and check to see if the NUCA correction can be the result. So tune in, watch us on live, and check us out on Facebook.
I'll see you next week.
Have a great day.
Join Dr. Jonathan Chung and Dr. Greg Jean-Pierre each week on the Heal Yourself radio show every Thursday at 5 p.m. Listen each week as they interview leading health experts to provide you with comprehensive and natural solutions to make your body work at its best and solve chronic health problems. Right here on 1470 AM, the Health and Wealth Network. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or